What it do, y'all? It's your girl Makeup and Travel, and for today's video your girl wanted to shop her stash because I was very inspired by a specific color scheme from one of the Viseart Petite 4s. So they have been coming out with a series or a collection every so often. I think it's like pretty much every season where they create 4 or so palettes with 4 shades that are inspiring for that season. And this season they created one. I'll put it on the screen right here. It is called Pistache, and this was the one that I was like, that's cool, that's cute, I could get down with that. But I decided not to pick it up, as I've been deciding not to do with quite a few palettes and just products in general that I've been interested in and I would love to maybe in the future pick up, but right now it's just not the right time. And so I decided ultimately that I would create my perfect palette. It is on the other side of this palette, I don't know, and basically I just shopped my collection to pick out a whole bunch of single shadows and then kind of organize them to use the inspiration that I got from that Petite 4 palette, but also use something that I've already bought. I've already spent my money on all of these products. So I created this tutorial at the end with the palette that I created. I will have all of the items that are on my face down below because some of these are project pans, some aren't, so it will be really informative for people who are interested in what's really on my face to genuinely look down in the description box this time. And that's all I got. Let's just go ahead and get into kind of the arrangement of the eyeshadow palette or this kind of color scheme, and then like I said at the end I will show you guys a tutorial on this look, and I will try my best to do timestamps as usual in the event that you want to skip around with this video. Okay, let's get into it. So unfortunately, not much of my shopping of these actual shades was recorded because my memory card got full. But basically, as you can see, I picked a variety of kind of peachy peaches or just kind of something that I felt was in that vein. And then I also picked a quite huge variety of greens. Now, the biggest issue I found with this palette is that there was not enough depth. And I understand that this is supposed to be kind of a more pastel take on it, but I still like some depth. So now I'm going to just break everything up based on color, just so that I can kind of go through and swatch to see which is the one that I actually want to go into my palette. Okay, so as you guys can see, I have 4 different groups, and I did bring in a couple of different colors that I thought would kind of be very nice in this color family. But first I'm going to go ahead and start with the 2 kind of main color families that were in the palette. So I have some peachy kind of mattes, and then I also have quite a bit of greens. So let me start with the peachy mattes because there's few of those, and I'm just going to swatch them literally just to see the differences, the similarities, see which ones I actually want. And I'll tell you guys the name. This one is from a random palette that I depotted, but I probably kept it because it is a unique shade. And it's a very unique shade for my collection. Then we have Wait For It from ColourPop. And this is a lot more peachy and a lighter in tone. Third, we have Mousse by ColourPop. This one looks to have a little bit more red than that first one. Yeah. Then we have Sydney Grace's Grace, which is the most lightest and peachiest overall. And then lastly, we have Peach Brew by Coastal Scents. This is a really nice variety of peaches. I definitely want this one, which is Making Moves. I like the depth that this provides in this color family. I think what I'm going to go ahead and do is take these three. So I'm going to take ColourPop's Making Moves and Wait For It. And then I'm also going to take Peach Brew by Coastal Scents. I know that's no longer a brand, but, oh, I'm sorry. No, that's not the one I wanted. I want this one, and this one. Those are the three most varieties. So I'm sorry. I'm taking Sydney Grace's Grace. So those are the three that I'm going to take, and I'm just going to put them in the actual palette, and I'll do the rearranging a little bit later. So these two I'm not using. Okay, then next let's look into the greens. Okay, so for the greens, once again, I have quite the variety. I have mattes and shimmers this time though, which I am very happy about. So I'm just gonna kind of put them in a row, and we're just gonna swatch them and see. I would love it if I didn't have to use these two, but they do kind of bring in different element that I don't see represented in my normal sized shadows. So this one is Limeade from Give Me Glow. Extremely pigmented, extremely bright, beautiful shade. Then we have Lucky Charm from Looxi. And this is a really hard one to pick up. It is very, very faint, and it's already getting hard pan. I think that's why I haven't really gotten all that much use out of it. It's a nice wash, but it's not going to do much for this look. Then I have Pear from Igneous Cosmetics. I don't know if this brand is still running, but I will do my best to link all of the brands that I discussed down below if they're still operating. Then I have Olivewood from Coastal Scents. This is a really nice kind of dark green. You guys know I love depth, so finding that in this shade is really, really nice. Then I have Surge from Devinah Cosmetics. Very, very beautiful shade. You can see it definitely has a white base, but it still shows up on my skin tone. And then this is a shade that I depotted from an eyeshadow palette, and I did that because it was unique for shades that I personally had. So quite the variety when it comes to the mattes in this. And so it's going to be kind of hard to see what I want to choose. I do kind of want a nice variety here. I think I'm going to pick this Igneous Cosmetics, Limeade from Give Me Glow, the Devinah Cosmetics Surge, and I think I'm also going to take Coastal Scents' Olivewood. Those are the four I'm going to take matte wise. Let me get those in the palette. And then let's swatch these shimmers. So first one, this is from Glaminatrix when they were only doing singles on Etsy. They didn't label the shade, so I have absolutely no idea what the shade is, but it's spectacular shadow. Then I have Touch of Glam's Dirty Martini. Really pretty textured shimmer. And then lastly, a really nice and deep green shimmer is Sydney Grace's Rustic. And I think this has some brown in it too. It does. Nice. I think I'm going to take these two. I want to bring some brightness. I already have a nice depth from the mattes that I chose. So we have quite the color scheme so far. Like I said, I just threw them in here. We'll organize it later. And then let's go through the kind of pinky lavender tones that I brought out. Okay, so once again, I have mattes and shimmers. Let's start off with the mattes. Only 3 this time. And as you can see, there's quite the variety. So the lightest tone is from Clionadh Cosmetics, and this is Strawberry Mousse, or is it Mousse? Mousse. And this is like a nice pastel lavender pinky purple shade, so that's why I picked this one up. Then I have Magenta Pink from Coastal Scents. This is definitely a mid-tone pinky matte. I really do love using this matte. I feel like I use it a lot in my recreations. And then Poison on Your Lips from Looxi Beauty. So this is definitely a nice darkener shade. It's not the easiest to pick up. I think this was when they were kind of in the middle of reformulating their shadows. So it's not the best formula, but the shade is really nice. And honestly, I like that variety overall. I think I'm gonna take all three. Okay, and then we have the 3 shimmers. We're just gonna swatch it on the same hand. First, we have Dull Face from Looxi. This is definitely a favorite. I love this shade. Very, very pretty, and this can work really nicely with those like more peachy mattes, but also with these peachy, pinkier, purpler mattes. Then we have Pixie Sticks from Devinah Cosmetics. This is a fantastic formula. Any shade in this range is really, really nice. Really, really pretty shade. The base is pink, but there's definitely a lot of glitter or shimmer in there that pulls it a different way. So that would be really unique, and this would add some value with those greens. And then last, we have Touch of Glam's Dragon's Breath. This was one of the first singles that I got from Touch of Glam, and it is insanely smooth, metallic, really, really pretty, just like magenta or maroon type shade. Once again, I think I'm gonna take all 3. I think I did really good with picking a variety of shades, but just also shades that I think will actually add value to this palette. And then lastly, I had to add just a splash of like neutrals and yellows. I love those 2 tones, and I thought that that could add something to this palette. So I'm just gonna go ahead and swatch these as well. I'll just do the 2 mattes first, and then I'll come back and do the shimmers. So one matte that I pulled out is a yellow, and this is from Clionadh Cosmetics, and this is Maize. I'm not the biggest fan of Clionadh Cosmetics mattes, but sometimes they're gems. I think I got rid of all the bad ones. This is a really, really nice kind of pastel yellow, so I think I'm definitely going to use that one. And this is just a really nice camely brown. I love these tones, which is why I depotted it from whatever palette I did, and I really think that this will add some uniqueness and even allow me to kind of do a more neutral look if I want with this palette. So I am going to go ahead and pick both of these mattes in here, and then I have these 4 shimmers to add something different as well. This just says Haunted. I'm sorry, I don't know what brand it's from, but all it says is Haunted, so that's the name of the shadow at least. Really pretty shadow. It has a very strong white base though, so I don't think it's going to make it into the palette. Then this is Sydney Grace's Major. This is more of a champagne shimmer, and I thought that this would just continue to allow me to do a more neutral look with this palette. Then we have Glass Bowl from ColourPop. I recognized it as soon as I saw it, and I figured this would be really interesting to add to the mix. And then lastly, this is a textured shadow from Touch of Glam, and this is in Cleopatra's Crown. And as I said, I love yellows. I love adding variety. Interesting. Okay, so I'm gonna take the last 3. I'm not gonna take this one. All right, so if you're interested, these are all the shadows that I basically said I'm down for. What I'm gonna do is take them all out. I wanna organize them, and I may kind of condense the color story a little bit after seeing all the shadows that I have in here, but I really think that they all kind of bring something to the table. And yeah, so let's get into condensing. So I know this may look like a lot of shadows, but I really think that I was able to expand this color story into something that works for me. Granted, I think I strayed a little bit away from the kind of more pastel green and just the pink or peachy tones, but I think adding some of this variety will make it more useful for me. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and swatch all of these on my arm for you all. And yeah, then we'll get into the look. So like I said, these are all of the shadows, and I really like this color scheme. I know it may seem all over the place for a lot of people, but I see the variety and the depth that I can be able to get in all of the different kind of eye looks. So yeah, that's kind of that. I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of swatch and building of it, and let's just get into the tutorial. Hey, so I just wanted to bring the tutorial with this video. I had a lot of fun shopping my stash. I'm sorry about the missing footage, but hopefully you guys were able to kind of have fun with the part that I was able to actually capture. And once again, this is what the palette looks like. All you have is natural lighting straight on the palette, and I'm just gonna have some fun. I honestly think I'm gonna stick with like maybe these 6 shades and maybe deepen them up a little bit, but I just want to have some fun. You guys know I love yellows, so let's just see how it goes. I'm not gonna tell you guys the actual shade that I'm using, but on the screen it will pop up. So let's just go. This is the yellow matte. Ooh, super powdery. Super powdery. Okay, and this is a BK Beauty brush, just in case you are interested. Okay, I don't know how I'm gonna like that in the long run, but we're gonna just kind of go with it and just keep seeing what we can do. I'm just gonna wipe this brush off. I'm not gonna even use my like spray. Just gonna wipe it off, and I want to use this beautiful, beautiful lavender in my inner crease. So that's what's gonna go there. This once again looks to be kind of powdery as well, so I'm just going to take my time and really press that in to my primer. Alright, so far not doing the best, but not doing the worst. I've seen it worse before. I'm going to take a different brush and I don't want to deepen it up too heavy because this is during the day, but I do want to go into the more deeper of the peachy tones that I have in this palette, and I'm going to take a smaller, more condensed brush, and I'm just going to go ahead and deepen up that area. I'm just going to try and really focus this on this outer V area. I still want that yellow to shine in the end look, but I do want to ultimately kind of deepen this whole look up. Okay, so I don't know what it looks like on camera. In person, it looks really nicely blended, really good. I do have a bit of my highlighter escaping everywhere on my face, but that typically happens with this KVD highlighter. Then what I want to do is do something really pretty on the lid. I think I want to mess with one of my two kind of more lavender shimmers, and I'm feeling like this one. I feel like this is the one I really want to just put all over my lid. So I'm just going to take my finger . I'm really enjoying this. I, once again, don't know how much you guys can really see, because the fact that I need glasses, I can only see but so much, like through this small little viewfinder, but it looks so pretty. It looks like a really pretty but simple sunset look. I definitely was not going for that, but I'm not mad at all. What I want to do is get a really small pencil brush, and I'm actually going to just go ahead and stick with this kind of theming and go with this really pretty yellow. It's really pretty yellow. And this is going obviously in my inner corner highlight. I might actually put some right under my arch for my brow bone. Okay, and another thing I wanted to do with this particular look is I actually wanted to deepen up, but just along the actual lash line. And I'm going to use the really dark maroon purple shade. And I'm just going to just stick right on that line. So it's not going to be like overly apparent or anything like that. Just going to add a slight little bit of depth that I want. And so what I'm going to do, just to make sure that that's not too apparent, I'm just going to blend just a little bit with that brush. Okay, and that's it. That's it. I'm really liking this look. I'm going to throw on some liner, mascara. We'll see if I want to put on lashes. I also need to figure out what I'm going to do with my lips, and then I'll come back to show you guys the finished look. Alrighty guys, so this is the finished look. Yeah, like I said, this is the finished look. I had so much fun playing with this palette, and I didn't even use all of the shadows. So imagine if I was able to pull in those greens with the actual peachy tones and then throw the yellow in too. I think I would have had even more fun. But today, this is the avenue that I wanted to go. And this is just kind of another reminder, as always. Yes, it's fun to buy makeup. Yes, it's fun to test out new formulas, new brands, all of that and anything in between. But it's also really fun just to shop your collection, shop your stash, just to see what you can create when you see a color scheme that is extremely inspiring to you. And so that's what I hope I was able to remind you guys of today, as I hope to kind of always remind myself and you guys every so often, because sometimes I go off the handle, okay, and I buy just a little bit too much. But I always want to remind myself, you know, it's okay to shop your stash and be inspired by something that somebody comes out with and not actually buy it. So I hope I was able to do that for you all today. I was considering not filming another video, but who knows? I might film my new makeup releases for tomorrow with this look. I don't know. I'm feeling like it's time to relax a little bit, but I truly don't know. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys stay tuned to my channel, like this video, subscribe so that you can stay up to date. Like I said, I will be doing another video tomorrow, which is my new makeup releases. I do it every Sunday. So hopefully you guys enjoy that video. Hopefully I enjoy it as well. Talking about all the new makeup, maybe even showing you guys some products that I received this week and all of that jazz. So yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.